Okay.
Right, so to go second, Joe. We good? Yeah.
So for my final major project, I would like to create a radio show podcast. I want this radio show podcast to have different sections so it can appeal to a variety of different people. For example, I want a section of my podcast to be about music. In this section, I'll talk and explore the world of music and even play some music. This will require me to research into popular music among my target audience, which will be around 15 to 29, age 15 to 29. I would also like a news / current affairs part to my radio show podcast where I have a topical debate. One topical debate that I've thought of is TV dead? The reason why I've chosen this topic is because as streaming services like Netflix and Amazon have become increasingly popular, I would like to explore the effect that this is having on TV viewing figures. The good thing also about this topic is that my father works in audience research and viewing figures, so I can interview him about this topic. And as I've found out, interviews are an important part of radio shows. It's also a very current topic that's relevant to my target audience of people aged 15 to 29. So one of the main reasons why I've chosen to do a radio show podcast is because I really enjoy using the microphones in the last project and also the audio editing using Adobe Audition. I learned a lot on how to use this software and want to use the skills that I've learned for this project and also explore other audio editing software such as Apple's Logic Pro X. So what I want to achieve is, I've got a few aims I want to achieve. I want to ensure that my radio show podcast is entertaining, because after all that's why we watch and listen to different media products. I also want to ensure my piece is informative. This will be achieved through the topical debate section in my podcast where I'll have my debate on whether TV is dead. I also want to ensure that my piece is interactive, so I'm looking at the possibility of having a phone in to debate this topic, as this is another popular theme of radio shows. And finally, I want to ensure this radio show podcast is appealing to my target audience of 15 to 29-year-olds. So in terms of industry examples, I've carried out extensive research into the target audience of Radio 1, and this is where I've got a lot of my target audience research from, as their aim is also to appeal to a younger generation. I've also discovered through looking into Radio 1 audience statistics that 90% of the listeners are white, so therefore I want to appeal to more people from different ethnic backgrounds. I'll hopefully achieve this by talking about and even playing music from artists from different ethnic backgrounds. And researching popular radio shows among my target audience will be key, such as BBC Radio 1 and Capital FM. In terms of the common themes that I found in Radio 1 and Capital FM is that the presenters are very upbeat and positive and also funny. Furthermore, many of the shows feature sections where you can phone up and be on the radio and discuss different things. So these are all things that I want to incorporate into my radio show podcast. So what do you think makes a radio show podcast entertaining to listen to? Or what sort of personality do you like a radio presenter to have? So that's just a question to everybody.
I don't love when radio presenters are too upbeat, you know, when some of them are, you can tell they're putting it on.
Right, yeah.
Like Nick Grimshaw in the mornings.
Yeah.
He used to do the mornings, he used to annoy me because he was like too in your face, it's morning, wake up. Whereas now, like Greg James, he's more like, I just think it's better when they're themselves, they don't try too hard because it comes off.
Yeah, I'd agree. Definitely, kind of by the enunciation of words, you know, the hello, good morning, that sort of thing. You get that kind of fake.
America.
Yeah, you get that fakeness, and I think it definitely. I prefer to listen to people a little more down to earth and real. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else got anything to chime in on that? Cool, good.
Yeah, and that's it. Questions and feedback.
Does anyone have any questions?
I think it's a very good idea, Jim.
Yeah, certainly. A strength, as always, is your audience research. You've already started doing some really kind of important research into target audience, and you're letting that inform your idea, such as the ethnicity, and trying to target an ethnicity or a background to what another radio kind of platform isn't doing. So you kind of almost found a gap in a market, and you're thinking, great, that's going to fuel a lot of my creative decisions, which is really cool. I think you want to, I know we've had this discussion before, think about the platform really, because you say you want to do an internet radio show. So is it going to be a radio broadcast or more like a podcast? Because a podcast is a way of distributing these sorts of things. So is it and that? And one question I do have actually, just kind of thinking about it, is it something that you're going to pre-record, or is it more of a live recording, or are you going to experiment?
I think it'll be pre-recorded.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I'm going to want to edit it and stuff. So.
Yeah, and that's still possible if you record it live. With phone-ins and with an actual debate and stuff. And at this stage, I'm only asking these questions to get you thinking about your project.
Right, yeah.
One thing that you really do want to look into is you clearly looked at radio broadcasts and the format of radio broadcasts and phone-ins and debates. Do look at podcasts.
Yeah.
More often than not, a podcast is far more casual and relaxed, and I think successful podcasts have a theme or an idea behind them. One that I've listened to recently is the who's that guy you really like? James Acaster. James Acaster's got one that's all based around talking to celebrities and getting them to come up with their favourite meal. So their favourite starter, main, dessert from anywhere in the world.
Right.
But what they do is before the episode starts, they name a food. And if that food is ever mentioned during the episode, then they kick the host out. Right. So they have a little theme or a concept behind the episode, and obviously with them being comedians, they have a few laughs. But all that is a catalyst to start discussion and talking. So when the person says, "Oh, I want onion bhajis for my starter," then it's like, "Oh, onion bhajis for starter," like that. So do look into different styles of podcasts, because that might shape your radio show in some way and give it maybe a bit of an identity.
Yeah, I'm kind of just I like the idea of a podcast because it's got a theme. Every podcast, it doesn't lead on. And usually when people are on radio, like especially like Radio 1, they're there to plug something. They're there to plug something that they, do you know that term, plug? Or promote something that's their new book, their new album, their new film or whatever. They're not there for kind of idle chit chat. They're talking about the successes or their tour that's coming up. So I know, like, I can see why you use Radio 1 in Capital because it's your target age group. But if you want to look at more talk radio, you look at things like Radio 4. BBC Radio 4 is just talk. But as far as podcasts are concerned, they all have themes. So instead of, I like the idea of the call-in.
Mm-hmm.
Listeners calling in, but you could do it another way. With a podcast, you'd have like a panel. So you'd have a panel of people, and they would all be contributing to that actual episode. So, say your theme is on Brexit. Okay, you might have 4 people on there. You're the interviewer, and you're putting your questions forward, and they're all chipping in with their own opinion to it. So, which is very similar to a call-in. So that might be something to look into, but there are podcasts are, like Justin was saying, with the distribution of it, it's the more futuristic side of it, or where we are now, and that's what we're kind of leading to, because some do say that radio is dying, and I think maybe it is with your generation, because I think as far as your research is concerned, it might be interesting to find out how many people your age actually still listen to radio, because I think you'd be quite surprised how many people don't. So maybe podcasts are more niche as well. So things that, and with podcasts you think about regulation, because BBC has to be an informative media form. So it's not there to change your opinion on things. It's got to be kind of above board. It's got to be safe. So with a podcast, you can talk about more diverse things, more risque,
and have more opinions.
Yeah.
But I think we mentioned this only to inform your idea.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, we want you to kind of stride your own path. So,
Podcasts will give you more scope.
Yeah, but I think it's a really good
It's
idea.
entirely up to you
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah, really good. So good work, Joe.